Hey there, this is Logan Crockett with Full Circle Music. I am coming to you from our recording studios here in Nashville, Tennessee, and we are here today to answer your questions about the music industry. You guys asked, how do you get a job in the music industry? I'm going to tell you. So first of all, I want to make a differentiation between having a job and then actually being an entrepreneur. There is a difference. So a lot of people don't realize that with the music industry, there are creative careers, such as being a songwriter, being a music producer, being an artist who's on stage. And these particular career options do often involve relationships with other professional businesses, such as if I'm a songwriter, I might have a professional relationship or a contract with a publishing company. If I'm an artist, I might be with a record label. So you do have those kind of relationships often enough, but that is very, very different from quote employment. With those kind of relationships, there might be some financial benefits that are involved, but it is very, very different from what most people think of as a job or as work, where you actually go somewhere and you work a certain number of hours and you get paid a certain amount for those hours. That's not at all how it works. And that gets a lot of people into trouble when they're first looking for jobs on that creative side, because they don't realize that what you're really doing in those cases is you're being your own boss. Yes, you're making relationships to other companies, but really you're your own boss. You are a self-employed individual. You are an entrepreneur. You have your own business. You're doing your own taxes. So if you want to go into any creative fields in the music industry like those, I just want you to be aware of that and know that that's the path that you're going down. Now, for the rest of this video, I want to talk to those of you who want a job in the more traditional sense in the music industry, something that's a little bit more behind the scenes, but something that is actually, quote, employed, something where you do go work a certain number of hours and then you get paid a certain amount for those hours typically. So those might involve things, like I said, that are a little bit more behind the scenes, that are things like what I'm doing, like marketing. You also have things like radio. You have a lot of jobs that involve production on the road. You have a lot of jobs that might be working for a venue. A lot of things like that are just more, hey, I'm working for a company. Those are the kinds of things that I want to talk about here. So let's say that you do want a job like that, which can be nice. It can offer a lot of stability, and almost no matter what you're doing in the music industry, if you're really passionate about music, there's a good chance that you're going to enjoy what you do. So when it comes to actually getting one of those jobs, the problem is that a lot of positions in the music industry are extremely competitive because a lot of people do want to work in the music industry. For a lot of people, it's very much a dream to get to work in the music industry. So the music industry, unfortunately, does have a little bit of a tendency to overwork and underpay people. That's just the reality when it's a field that a lot of people really, really want to get into. So my first piece of advice would be to specialize. You want to specialize in a particular area. We've had a lot of people come through our world recently, and they're like, I really want to be in the music industry, but I just don't know exactly what I want to do. And the problem with that is if you're an employer, if you're someone who has a job and you're interested in hiring, you don't want to hire someone who, quote, isn't sure what they want to do in the industry. Even if they want to be in the music industry, that's great. But if I have a specific position for even something like just running administration or those kind of clerical duties at, say, a recording studio. I want to hire someone who's actually really, really interested in doing that exact position. I don't want to hire someone who isn't sure what they want to do, and then maybe I give them that position, but maybe they realize that they're not interested in that at all, and then they move out of it, a few months later. As an employer, it's really good to have someone who's going to stay around for a long time. You want to make sure that your position is a great fit for them and that they're a great fit for your company. So in order to specialize, in order to actually figure out what you want to do in the music industry, I would highly encourage you to talk to any professionals in the music industry that you know. That's a really great place to start. Also, just doing a bunch of research, literally Googling, hey, what kind of careers are out there in the music industry? That can help a lot. You can definitely go to music industry events and conferences. That's a great place to network and meet a lot of people who are in the music industry and figure out what a lot of people do. And of course, you can always intern. Even a lot of people don't realize this, but with interning, you don't have to be in college. We've had interns around Full Circle Music who have been well into their 30s, I think even in some cases 40s. And you can go ahead and if you can provide value to a company, or really just if you're interested in interning, there's a good chance that a lot of companies would be interested in having you on as an intern. And interning can be a nice low risk way to kind of get your feet wet in the music industry and get more familiar with how things operate and see if you like doing specific tasks and jobs versus other things. So specialization is definitely going to be the first key, the first thing you really got to figure out if you want a job. Because like I said, employers need to know that the opportunity that they're giving you is something that you actually really, really, really want. So once you're specialized, once you know what path you want to pursue in the music industry, the second step is really just to get really, really, really good at that specialization. You want to develop that skill set. Kind of like anything, a lot of times with jobs in that career sort of sense, we don't think of it like this for some reason, but let's actually take a music analogy. I have a friend who is an amazing violin player, and the reason he's an amazing violin player is because he has done what cliche awesome musicians do and lived like his whole college life in practice rooms. He lived a lot of his high school life in practicing at home. What he did to get so good is he practiced. And it's the same thing with almost any skill set, not just a musical skill set or like an athletic skill set. If you want to get good at a skill set that is valuable towards a career, a lot of the secret to being recognized for that and actually getting really good at it is practice. So whether you do your own music and you can kind of work on some of those skills and practice those job skill sets with your own music, or whether you have other artists or musicians in your area that you can just help out for free. Just like anything, back to the violin analogy, when you first start, you're not going to be very good. No one's going to be asking you to come play at these events, and that's because you're not very good. How do you become really good? You practice. And unfortunately, that's just the reality with a lot of career opportunities in the music industry. You have to practice and get good at something before you're going to be good enough at it to actually rise to the top and be one of the ones that all these companies are desperate to hire. So really just practice the skill set and also learn. There's a lot of there are courses. We of course through the Full Circle Music Academy, we have a lot of courses and training to help develop skill sets. But there's a lot of things out there across the internet, and books and everything like that. And I would definitely encourage you, instead of just practicing on your own, just like, again, back to the violin analogy, don't learn on your own. Get a violin instructor, get a violin teacher, get a method book that'll kind of walk you through how to actually have proper technique. You don't want to kind of develop bad habits or just learn in inefficient ways. And so see what the experts have to say, go and learn from them, and that'll accelerate your ability to progress in your skill set much quicker. And so the last thing that the last bit of advice that I'm going to give as it relates to getting a job in the music industry, number 3, is being really, really good with people. This is important for 2 particular reasons. Number 1, again, like I said, the music industry is a very, very, very competitive place, and a lot of people would love to have a job in the music industry. So if you have a really, really awesome skill set, but you're not that great to be around as a person or as just someone to get along with in the workplace, then it's going to be very easy for an employer to want someone else with that skill set who is really good with people versus you. Because even if you have that skill set, but if you're not good with people, it's just not going to be as great of a working environment. And employers know that, and so they're going to pass on you if they get that vibe that you're just not as good at getting along with people. The music industry, just by the nature of what it is a very, very people, very relationship-oriented space. It's not as much of a just, hey, here's my resume, here now I'm going to go get a job kind of space. It's all about people. And that leads me into the second point about being good with people, which is that a lot of times people themselves are going to be what gets you your foot in the door for a lot of job opportunities. With a lot of job opportunities, like I just said, it's not a resume culture. A lot of times you need an introduction, or you need someone who knows someone who knows someone to kind of create that network that gets you in to the music industry. So a lot of the art of job seeking in the music industry is literally that people networking. And there's a whole lot of different ways to do that, whether you're just really extroverted and want to go meet everybody, or whether you want to make strategic relationships on LinkedIn, or just, like I said, go to industry events, meet people, and add value to what some professionals are doing. If you can add value to a professional, and that might mean walking their dog or mowing their lawn in some weird cases. But the point is if you can do something that actually adds value to a professional versus doing something that is just like, oh, hi, I want to get in the music industry, can you help me? That sounds more needy. Whereas if you're able to give something, then that's just how human relationships work. It's very give and take. And so that's a lot of the magic of being good with people. So, and then funny enough, a little similar to what I just said about developing a job skill set, sometimes getting good with people is also a learned skill set. That takes practice. But anyway, so if you're struggling trying to find a job in the music industry, or if you're just not sure why things aren't working out for you, hopefully just keep these 3 tips in mind. And it is going to be a lot of work, but if you really focus on these 3 particular things, and if you're just really driven and you just go after this with all your heart, then there's a good chance that the dream job in the music industry will open up for you. All right, thanks for watching. If you learned something, if this video was helpful to you, we really would appreciate it if you would go down there and hit that like button. It's super quick, super easy, super simple, and it does make us more friendly with the YouTube, so that would be awesome. But more importantly, we're actually doing a whole lot more videos just like this one, where we are answering the internet's top questions about the music industry. And so if you aren't subscribed to our channel and it sounds like you would love to hear our answers to some other questions, then please subscribe so that way you don't miss those. Also, speaking of questions, if you have any more questions, maybe there was something you weren't sure about regarding this video, or you're wondering about a completely different topic in the music industry, go ahead, go down to that comment section and write your question and let us know what's up, and we would be happy to get back to you and answer that, or maybe even make a future video about it. The last thing that I want to let you know is that at Full Circle Music, our team has created an awesome resource for you, totally free, and it's just a free mini training class that teaches you exactly what to do if you really want to have a career in the music industry. So if you would like to check out that free class, and again, it's totally for free, you can click right over here, and if you click on that button, then you should get immediate access to that class, and that would be really cool. Or if you would rather go and check out another video that answers a top question about the music industry, you can do that by clicking right up there.